Do I know, like, and trust Chris? Has he added value to me and showed me that he can help me by helping me for free? And then what ends up happening is people start to think to themselves, oh, if he helped me this much for free, how much would he help me if I paid him? Or how much would he help me if I partnered with him?
Yeah.
We went 11 years as a company with no competitors. In the last 4 years, we now have 22 models that look just like us. So the question is in that environment strategically, and if I look at it unemotionally, because we have a tendency as humans to get like romanticize like what we know because we want to be right.
Yeah.
So the goal is to try to like triangulate ideas with believable people unemotionally attached, right? So maybe that worked for me before, but like, let me look at the landscape now. So if you have 22 competitors in a space who all have great salespeople, who are all going to say their model's the best and their compensation plan is the best.
Yeah.
And what I mean by great salespeople is they can make it sound fantastic. Yes? Going down the path of trying to kind of snipe down models is a loser's game. It's a race to the bottom.
For sure.
What I want to do is elevate above the whole conversation.
Yeah.
How do you elevate above the whole conversation? Is you become the type of person somebody would say yes to without even knowing what you're doing. How do you do that? You add so much value for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes? Now I'm the brand. Now I'm the type of person where you're like, yeah, dude, I would, like, how can I help? Like Josh, who just went down the stairs, he called me one day. He's like, look, dude, I've watched 100 hours of your content in the last 90 days on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, man. I'm glad it's helpful. That's why we create it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, what's up? How can I help? He's like, yeah, I want to partner with you with EXP. Okay. You got any questions? Nope. You're going down the right path. And the other thing that I would share with you that hopefully is encouraging, because it seems like really overwhelming, is that if it's not worth doing for a decade, it's not worth doing for a day. So I posted into the void for like 2 years. Like just
into the ether.
Into the ether. And I showed to this mastermind that I run. So on YouTube, I had 42 episodes, like 42 pieces of content with like 200 subscribers, like 42 episodes of podcast in 2 years. And for those 2 years, we had 600,000 views. This year, 2 million.
Wow.
Third year in.
Those same pieces of content.
No, well, I've been producing a lot more.
Right.
Plus, I got a team that does thumbnail. Like, we got serious about it.
Yeah.
I have videographers, you know what I mean? So, but the point is like, it's not, it takes a while for people to pay attention, just to stick with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the right thing.
Agreed.
10% of all TV time on TV screens is on YouTube now.
Yeah.
7.8% is on Netflix. It's actually more than Netflix. So what's going to happen is that the platforms are no longer going to boost engagement. That's not going to be their metric that they're going to look at, because you can't really engage on TVs.
Yeah.
What they're going to boost is, do I have a bingeable library of content? Because isn't that what Netflix does?
Yeah. Next.
Why do they pay so much money for Seinfeld? It's a bingeable library of content.
Next one displays. Yeah.
It keeps you on the platform longer, yes?
Yeah.
What have I been doing for the last 3 years? Building a library of what? Bingeable content. So this guy can watch 100 hours.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
So, but here's what's true about that. If that's where it's going, which it is, people are very smart. They'll figure it out. So the cost to do it right now and do it meaningfully, I post 5 times a day or 3 to 4 times a day, 7 days a week, short form, 5 times a week on YouTube, long form, with which directionally, if you had to make a bet on the percentage of time people are going to spend on TVs on YouTube, is that going to go up or down? Up. And as it goes up, what will happen to the cost of producing the content? Bro, do you see what I'm saying? So now, that's why I'm so aggressive.
Right.
Why? 5 years from now, what do you think the cost will be to do what I'm doing? $15,000 a month, yes?
Yeah.
Do you see why the urgency?
Right.
Now it's like, bro, like, you have a small window of opportunity to carve out like real estate on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes?
Wow.
So that's why you got to be like aggressive, because that window's going to shrink.
From your last, whatever years, 3 years, you've been really heavy producing media. I mean, are we talking like 40 hours a week you're shooting?
Oh, no. So here's what's really cool about
media.
that. And I love that your brain went there, because that's the assumption people make. I probably spend 15 hours a month, because all I'm doing is documenting.
Right.
So like, we're having this conversation. Yes, that is going to become a short.
Right.
Yeah. Which positions? Who is the guide?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you have an organization, like I do a live role play where 67 agents hop on, me and my sponsor, Jose, we role play with people live. It's very helpful to them.
Yeah.
We do that on Zoom. We take the audio we post a faceless video on YouTube that people can listen to. When I gave a breakout session talk here, he was there. That's going to go on YouTube. Chop it up into shorts. Yeah.
That's why I was thinking about podcasting events.
But here's what
you're already doing it.
Yes, and what I would propose is along the podcast lines. I find a couple things to be aware of. Not all guests are the same, which you've noticed. Some people are better than others. Yeah. Some people provide better sound bites. Yeah. Yes. Some people are prepared. Yeah. They are ready, so they don't have to get ready, right? The other is that often what ends up happening is that the people that are on podcasts are just heroes. They basically spend all the time telling them how they're like, I'm so cool and I'm so great. Right. They're not actually guides. Right. So I find that content to be like, okay. What's actually more valuable, think about this from like the agent community. I feel like there's two types of avatars. One avatar is agents that want to go from like 0 to 100 deals. They want to be more effective, more efficient. They want to be better at lead gen, want to be better at taking listings. Great. The other avatar of agents is like the agent that we're getting ready to bring on, who's doing 75 million in volume, but he's 51 and he has no time. He needs to know about a different set of things. Yes? Yeah. And the content for those avatars is a little different, right? So me shooting a piece of content, let's say on how to do a listing presentation, is far more valuable than a podcast of somebody who's at a stratosphere that I can't even relate to. Yeah. I'm just trying to do more deals. If you looked at the numbers, what Leo was sharing with us, 0.014% of agents have done 30 deals or more this year. That means the vast majority of everybody is just trying to do deals. Trying to do more deals. Hence, we send them live role plays. Is that helpful? Yes. Yes. I have a listing presentation video that has 10,000 views on it. Is that helpful? Mm-hmm. Yes. We tell them where to get leads. Is that helpful? Do you see? Mm-hmm. So it's being mindful of who the avatar is and what do they actually want to see, because what the algorithms are at now, most people are doing media on the social graph. Yeah. Which is what it was when it first came out. So like Facebook only showed you stuff that your friends were doing. Yeah. So what do we all do? Oh, here's me with Chris. Here's me with Ashley. I'm eating dinner. I'm at the beach, right? Yeah. Well, first of all, you're the hero there. Second of all, though, TikTok came around like 6, 7 years, whatever it was. Their algorithm's superior because it's on the interest graph. Right. Here's why it's superior. What Chris thinks is interesting at, how old are you right now? 35. 35 is much different than what he thought was interesting at 20. Mm-hmm. So the algorithm changes with your interests, which means they'll keep you there for longer. Yes? Yeah. It's superior. When Meta and YouTube saw this, they were like, oh. So what did they come out with? Reels and shorts. Right. That's based on the interest graph. Yeah. So, yes? Yeah. Okay. So as such, think about this. What are my avatars interested in? Not what do I want to create? Yeah. Yeah? That is the content that I need to be focused on. Yeah. And pumping that out with volume and frequency, because frequency equals familiarity. So when they asked me to do a breakout session on attraction, and I was just saying hi to everybody in the crowd. And she's like, yeah, I know you. I see you all the time on my feed. Yeah. That's incredibly helpful. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the point being is that Google says we touch our phones 150 times a day. Texting, checking emails, whatever. About, let's say, an hour to 2 hours of that is on platforms. Yep. What would increase the probability that you would see me?
You create content that's geared towards me?
That and frequency.
Yeah.
Yes?
150 times, how many times?
Hence the reason why I'm 3 to 4 times a day, 7 days a week, short form.
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah. It increases frequency.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do is you want to build an ecosystem of attention, because what people don't realize, I think they're looking at the wrong metrics, where like short form is like we're sitting in this giant, imagine sitting in like a town square with billions of people and you go like this, hey. That's all it is. It's like, why would I even stop and listen to Ashley? Yeah. Why do I even care who she is? Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. The goal though is to get them to long form.
Yeah. Funnel the long form.
But I have to build an ecosystem of attention to get them there. Right. So I have to have short, medium, which is 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Let's say I shoot a video on how to overcome call reluctance. Right. Long form is an hour. Yes? You bring them through the ecosystem. Because when you think about it, like Brunson talks about, consumption is actually a form of payment. Right. We don't think about it that way, but you're paying me with your most valuable thing, which is your time. Yes. And they've done quantifiable, measurable studies that if you consume 15 hours of my content, you're going to engage with me in some way with a high degree of probability. In order to get there on 60-second shorts, somebody would have to watch 5,200 pieces of content. Yes?
Yeah.
In order to get there on long form, maybe 30 1-hour pieces if you watch half of them. Do you understand?
See,
It's superior.
yeah. That's the final link, really. I mean, we're creating short
All short.
and some medium,
Yeah.
but then like get them into the long game.
You have to create that ecosystem of attention.
Got to have the ecosystem first.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll leave you with is this statistic, which is wild. So YouTube, they did a study trying to figure out, like, what does it take to get to 100,000 subs? How much time does it take?
Okay.
They're doing the study. Halfway through, they realized they're looking at the wrong metric.
Okay.
It wasn't time. Do you know what it was? Posts.
Really?
It takes 1,000 long form pieces of content on average to get to 100,000 subs. So let's do the math on that. If you're doing one a week, it'll take 30 years.
Whoa.
Ready?
Listen to me. If I'm doing 5 a week, it'll take me 3.9. Yes?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which goes back to the race.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to slam the pedal down, because what we're really doing is like, I think the industry is changing dramatically, and the traditional models are more like JCPenney's and Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
They still exist, but they don't make any money.
Yeah.
There's going to be a huge migration to cloud-based. We're the Uber because we're the first to market, so we'll get the lion's share.
Yeah.
But what I'm aware of is the best way to ensure that I get my unfair share is to make sure that everybody who's an agent knows who I am. Period.
Yeah.
And you perceive me as a guide to help you to solve your problems.
Yeah.
If you put on a graph, you have dopamine, time, and then let's say you have a goal out in the horizon, the house, the car, the boat, whatever. Well, as you're moving towards that, you're like kind of going like this, but they're suffering.